Fate is inevitable, and Libra's justice is impeccable. They are seen as peaceful and diplomatic, but behind this mask lies a power that even dark forces fear. They don't fight directly, but they direct karma so that evil falls into the abyss dug for others. Today we'll break down 22 reasons why Libra is the worst nightmare for any darkness. Ready to see justice in action? The outward softness and desire for harmony is often misleading. Many consider Libra indecisive, hesitant, incapable of tough action. But this is only one side of the coin. Under the cloak of diplomacy hides an indestructible inner core, unshakable will, as if forged from heavenly steel. This sign of the zodiac symbolizes balance, the balance between light and darkness, good and evil. Scales are not just a bowl, mindlessly oscillating in the gusts of wind. It is the hand that holds the scales, the hand that can decide destinies. Their power is not in crude pressure, but in subtle, almost imperceptible influence on the course of things. They are like the judges of an invisible tribunal, passing judgment on the universe itself. And believe me, these sentences are inevitable. Libra has the gift of seeing the true essence, hidden behind a veil of illusion. They feel falsity, like poison dissolved in a pure source. Their decisions are weighed and fair, and punishment for those who sow evil is as inevitable as the sunrise after the darkest night. That is why the forces of darkness tremble before Libra, because they are able to confront them at the deepest level, where the fate of the worlds are decided. Their inner power is like an invisible but tangible law that governs reality itself. Ahead of us awaits a dive into the mysteries of this enigmatic sign. Ahead of us is the realization of the power that can overturn the idea of the usual world order. In the depths of the universe, where the paths of fate converge, Libra verdict its silent judgment. Many mistakenly believe that this sign is weak and indecisive. But under the mask of sophistication hides a force that can turn in awe even the devils of hell. Why do dark forces are afraid of Libra? There are many reasons, and today we will lift the veil of mystery over the first 5 of them. The first is the vision of truth. The eyes of Libra are not clouded by illusions. They penetrate to the very essence of things, tearing off the covers of lies and deceit. Where others wander in darkness, Libra see clearly, as the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, whose pen served as a measure of righteousness of the soul in the afterlife court. Libra exposes lies, bringing evil to light, depriving it of its power. The second reason is cold justice. Their justice is impartial and inevitable, like fate itself, like the punishing sword of Themis. Libra do not give in to emotions, do not know pity for those who sow evil. Their verdict is weighed and fair, regardless of faces and ranks. Remember the wise rulers of antiquity, whose decisions, dictated not by anger, but by reason, went down in history as a model of supreme justice. The third is the ability to manipulate reality. Libra do not just observe the course of events, they subtly direct them, as if skillfully intertwining the threads of fate. They create situations in which evil, reveling in its perceived impunity, self-destructs. Scales set traps, from which it is impossible to escape, like a skillful judge that corners the criminal with irrefutable evidence. The fourth reason is that Libra is the guardian of balance. They control the energy of balance, restoring harmony where chaos has reigned. Darkness cannot exist in an orderly universe, which, like a wise architect, Libra creates. They are the embodiment of the cosmic law that says that every force has a counterbalance. And finally, the fifth reason is the invisible threat. Their magnetism and charm put to sleep the vigilance of enemies, just as the beautiful melody of Orpheus' lyre enchanted even the guards of the underworld. Libra seems harmless, but it is only a mask that hides the inexorable power. They are an invisible but tangible threat, like the sword of Damocles hanging over the head of the condemned. The power of Libra is multifaceted, their influence on the world is profound and not always obvious. Comprehending the secrets of this sign, we only lift the veil over the abyss of wisdom and power. The true depth of their capabilities lies in the very nature of Libra. But not only insight and unwavering will is strong Libra. Their strength lies in the ability to weave the finest networks, influencing reality not directly, but through skillful play on the chessboard of the universe. Diplomacy for them is not a way to avoid judgment, but a subtle tool that they use to rule their own judgment, sometimes forcing their opponent to admit defeat before the battle begins. A skillful diplomat, like a puppeteer, pulls the strings, forcing his opponent to make fatal mistakes that lead to self-destruction. Libra is endowed with strategic thinking, like the sharp mind of a great commander, able to foresee not only the next move of the enemy, but the whole party for many steps ahead. They are the gray cardinals whose influence is invisible but tangible, whose decisions change the course of history while remaining in the shadows. Their intelligence is a sword that cuts through the intricacies of lies and intrigue, and their ability to calculate the consequences of their actions makes them virtually invulnerable. Having comprehended the mysteries of human nature, Libra gains power over souls. They see the weaknesses, fears, hidden desires, as if reading an open book. And this knowledge gives them the ability to masterfully play on the strings of the soul, guiding people, like puppets, to the goal that is predestined Libra. They are the creators of karmic traps, invisible traps in which evil falls of its own free will. Libra does not pass judgment itself, but creates such conditions in which the fate of justice. Under their influence, dark forces, blinded by pride and lust for power, drive themselves into a corner, signing their own death sentence. Intuition, bordering on clairvoyance, another gift of Libra. They seem to hear the whispers of fate, anticipating the coming events. This gift allows them to anticipate the actions of the enemy, to destroy his devious plans in the bud, staying one step ahead. And finally, Libra has the ability to absorb negative energy, transforming it into a creative force. They are like energy funnels that draw darkness into themselves, weakening their enemies and simultaneously energizing themselves. This gift makes them invulnerable to energy attacks, turning the enemy's weapon into a source of their own power. The abilities that come with the gift of empathy open up new facets of Libra's power. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Diving deeper, we find that the gift of Libra is not only a punishing sword of justice, but also the most subtle tool of empathy. Like a sensitive radar, they catch the slightest fluctuations in the emotional background, unmistakably reading the true intentions of others. Lies and manipulations crash against the invisible shield of their intuition like waves against rocks. Libra has the ability, like a mirror, to reflect the true nature of a person, exposing what is hidden under the mask of decency. This ability can be devastating for those who are used to hiding their true self behind a facade of lies and hypocrisy. When faced with their own reflection, woven from shadows and hidden desires, dark souls experience discomfort, bordering on panic. For there is nothing more frightening than to see yourself as you really are. It is Libra tear the veil of deception, exposing the unseemly truth hidden under the shroud of illusion. They are not afraid to face evil, exposing its true face. To a world accustomed to half-truths and self-deception, they reveal the true face of darkness, devoid of the halo of mystery in romance. This knowledge disarms, deprives the dark forces of their main weapon, the illusion of permissiveness. The art of psychological warfare, another facet of Libra's talent. They masterfully turn the weaknesses of the enemy against himself, weave a delicate web of intrigue, trapping the enemy in despair and self-destruction. In this fight Libra is like a skillful puppeteer, pulling the strings of other people's vices, bringing their opponents to complete collapse. But do not forget that Libra is not only a punishing sword, but also healers of souls. They have the gift to heal soul wounds, to help people free themselves from the influence of dark forces, to find inner peace and harmony. Like a skillful healer, they extract from the depths of the subconscious splinters of fears and complexes, helping their charges to regain wholeness. Psychologists, spiritual advisors, healers, peacemakers, these are just some of the hypostases in which Libra shows its bright side. They bring light and goodness to the world, dispelling darkness and chaos, like the morning dawn, dispersing the darkness of the night. Their very presence is a threat to dark entities, for where harmony reigns, there is no place for evil. Libra are beacons, pointing the way to the light, guides, leading through thorns to the stars. And this mission fills their hearts with the strength to withstand any challenge. In the depths of their soul lurks something more than just a set of qualities and abilities. Behind the external softness, behind the deceptive malleability of Libra hides something that cannot be measured by brute force. It is an inner core, forged from the very essence of justice. Like steel, hardened in the crucible of trials, the soul of Libra acquires unyielding hardness. They cannot be broken, it is impossible to intimidate, because the fear of earthly threats pales in the face of their inner truth. Like the legendary heroes that went to certain death without trembling, Libra does not retreat from their principles, even when everything is at stake. Remember the martyrs whose names shine through the ages, their bodies were defeated, but their spirits remained unconquered. Faithfulness to principle is their credo, engraved on the tablets of fate. Not bribery, not threats, not time itself cannot force Libra to change their inner truth. Their loyalty to justice is absolute, like the verdict of the heavenly court. They do not bargain with conscience, not looking for compromise where it comes to honor and dignity. Libra stand guard over the immutable laws of the universe, and this loyalty makes them invulnerable to dark forces. The power of the spirit that defeats matter, this is the true weapon of Libra. Their will is like an invisible blade that can cut the very fabric of reality. Where brute force is powerless, Libra triumphs by the power of the spirit that knows no barriers. Their inner power, like a tide, sweeps away any obstacles in its path, turning to dust even the most powerful enemies. The spiritual power of Libra is not a mystical abstraction, but a real energy that can do wonders, transforming the world around them. Libra carries the seed of absolute justice that knows no exceptions or leniency. They are the living embodiment of the highest justice, whose verdict is final and not subject to appeal. When Libra give their verdict, fate itself bows to their decision. Their justice has no mercy for those who violate the laws of harmony, who sow chaos and destruction. And this is not just a punishment, but a restoration of balance, a return to the original order of things. But what makes them so powerful? What gives them the right to rule destinies? Libra are not just people, they are instruments of the higher powers, called to restore balance in the universe. Their actions are dictated not by personal ambition, but by the will of fate, whose invisible threads are woven in their hands. Libra, this is the conductors of the supreme will, the executors of heavenly justice. And because they cannot be stopped, because against them is not a man, and the rock, the inevitability itself. Libra, a punishing sword in the hands of providence, and this sword always strikes precisely at the target. It is as if this is only the beginning of a path along which an invisible force is moving, restoring the cosmic balance. So, we have come to the line beyond which the true nature of Libra is revealed. It is not just the scales, silently frozen in anticipation. It's not just a symbol of beauty, harmony, and diplomacy, as is commonly believed. No. Libra is the embodiment of the supreme law, the inexorable fate, the punishing hand of justice, which passes judgment on the darkness itself. Their power is not in the rough blows, not in the rattle of weapons. Their arsenal is the finest tools of reality control, woven from the very energy of the universe. They do not break, but redirect. Do not crush, but turn evil against itself. Libra is not just a sign of the zodiac, it is the quintessence of justice, which, like an invisible thread, permeates the fabric of existence. Their verdict is final, for it is rendered not in dusty courtrooms, but in the halls of fate itself. They are the ones who restore balance when the scales tip too low under the weight of vice. They are the architects of karmic retribution, whose blueprints are written on the tablets of eternity. Scales are not just those who weigh good and evil. They are the very essence of balance, which does not tolerate distortion. Their power is not in strength, but in truth. Their weapon is not the sword, but the word. Their shield is not steel, but an unshakable faith in justice. Their way is not the way of war, but the way of harmony. But when harmony is trampled, when darkness spreads to eclipse the light, Libra becomes the force that can stop even the devil himself. For their justice is inevitable and their judgment is final. Libra is the power to change the world, bringing it back to its original point of balance, where light and darkness are in harmony. Realizing this profound essence reveals only one side of the coin. There remains something that is hidden behind a veil of mystery, which is not yet available to our eyes, but will certainly manifest itself when the time comes.